When I was a kid, I was raised in church and got to be about 18 years old. And when I turned 18, I got out of my parents' house. I really didn't care much for things that I learned growing up about the Bible and God and hearing about being saved. I thought that it was maybe good and everything, but it's not really something that interested me. So when I was 18, I moved out of my parents' house. Pretty quickly was gravitated to everything else that was going on in the world, like drinking and girls and stuff like that. Shortly after I was out of my house for about a year, I was for the first time introduced to the first drug I ever did, which was ecstasy. My friend Pete came to me and said, "It's just a pill, you just got to swallow it, it's not a big deal, everybody's doing it, it's harmless." So I tried it. So after I tried it, I was pretty quickly obsessed with drugs because I had never experienced anything. I drank a little bit, but I never experienced something so awesome before. So pretty quickly, I got fascinated with it. I started trying some other stuff, smoking weed, cocaine, and I just didn't go to work, got wrapped up in it, and my parents said, "You need to get yourself together," and had the idea that I should join the military. So I joined the Navy. After I was in the Navy for about 2 or 3 years, I'd been in trouble several different times for being absent without leave, getting in fights, all kinds of stuff. So the last time I was absent without leave, they put me in the brig for 2 months. I was in for 2 months, and after I got out, they gave me an other than honorable discharge and put me out. After getting out of the military, I went home and did my best to try to get myself together, got a job, and pretty quickly started getting back to my old ways after a few months. Well, I started going to the gym and getting involved in working out and got really obsessed with my body and my appearance and ran into some buddies at the gym that started saying I should try steroids. So I got involved in using steroids pretty heavily for about 2 or 3 years, using them, selling them to support me using them, and built a pretty good body. And then because of that body, I wanted to show it off. So that led me to go into places and that I didn't belong going in the first place. But after going to these places, New York and Philadelphia and places where people go to be seen, I got introduced to drugs, crystal meth more specifically. It wasn't like any drug I had ever done before. It was different. The other drugs, I could kind of use them and to a certain extent put them down. This one I just absolutely loved. I felt like Superman when I was on it. After about a year of going to Philadelphia every weekend and using crystal, I just didn't want to go and go out or have fun or do anything unless it was involved. I became pretty addicted to it about every weekend. After that, after about a year, I was in Allentown. I was in a nightclub, and after coming out of the nightclub, I got in a fight with 3 guys, and they stabbed me. I came out of the hospital. I was out of the hospital for a little while and realized I can't go back to work because I have stab wounds in me and I don't have any way to make money. So my friend said to me, "Well, why don't you sell crystal for me?" And I hesitated and at first thought that's a bad idea. I'll be a drug dealer. I don't want to be a drug dealer. So I said, "Well, I'll just sell it. I won't use it." That lasted for about 2 days. I pretty quickly started using it just as much as I sold it. I got up to using about 1 gram a day, which to me was worth $240 if I sold it. But at the same time, because I had drugs, I started getting involved with other people who sold drugs. And I had access to cocaine, ketamine, GHB, ecstasy, all types of drugs, which I also was using at the same time drinking constantly and using prescription drugs to come off of the drugs when I was done partying. This went on for about 2 or 3 years. It became one big party. Philadelphia, New York, Atlantic City, Allentown, everywhere. Just high, drunk, all the time. So after about 2 or 3 years, I had taken my status as being a drug dealer and having money to just being a drug addict. I didn't have anything anymore. I'd ruined my life, took my body away, it took my sense of right and wrong away. So I knew I needed to at least get away from crystal meth, and so that meant getting away from all my friends and everything else too. So what I did was I called my parents and told them I need help. I got a bad drug problem. and they obviously weren't happy about it, but they said I could come stay with them for a while and get myself together.